Boom.
All right. Well, welcome to the NSBE B.E.L.L Stock Talk. Excited. We got a new topic. Trying to keep it exciting. So we're going to talk about the automotive industry. We try and switch up the different topics. So I know one of the conversations or the big companies we talk about, especially right now, is Tesla. So I figured it'd be a good topic to talk about Tesla, but also like versus Ford, and talk about Ford as an old classic company. So a great way to just talk about stocks and how the industry has changed and how we go about that. So Mr. Jayden Harps, I'll let you introduce yourself. You ready? Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready. My bad. I've got the whole IG going over here, for the NSBE entrepreneurship. So yeah, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining another episode of Stock Talk. I'm really excited to be talking about this subject. Tesla's definitely been hot and nobody's talking about Ford anymore like that. So I'm really curious to see, what people have to say. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. And last but not least, I'll introduce Miss, is it Rylan, right? Boykins, before we.
Yes, Rylan.
Rylan, okay, before we, and I don't want to keep, she even let me mispronounce it forever. I don't want everybody else to continue it on. But
no, you good.
we've asked her to join the Stock Talk team to help us, just continue to grow the group and facilitate. I know she's really someone I followed on Instagram and has really been pushing stocks, things like that.
Yeah,
But
I'm sorry.
it's sorry, yeah, we family here. Everybody got kids, got lives. So, but yeah, just ask her to join the team, bring some creativity. I know she has some great comments and posts on our page, and obviously we just wanted to reflect the culture and definitely have a Black woman, really helping lead this up. So I know Black women are like some of the biggest investors right now. So love to provide that from your perspective. So welcome to the team, and we hope to keep you at the helm.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to have a role in this wonderful thing we call success.
There we go. There we go. So yeah, so we'll get right into the topic. Hope everybody's doing well. By the way, before we start, good to see everybody in the room, friends, supporters, stock talkers. But as you guys know, man, Tesla's been a hot stock lately. They've been going crazy. I think what did they hit, like the 2,500 milestone, a price per share. They hit a crazy market cap right now. So always just makes me think, the group we were just kind of talking the other day, like the how it's so crazy. Like if you've been trading for a while, know how many of our veteran traders, kind of prior to this year or so, recently, like earnings reports and earnings per shares was kind of like a good measure of a good blue chip stock company. And a company like a Ford, for example, versus now when you look at Tesla, it's a lot of speculation, right? They just recently hit profitable earnings per share in the past 4 quarters. So just want to talk about that, what people's ideas are and what their preferences. So I'm gonna hand it to you, Jay, and then Rylan, and you guys kind of let me know how where you at, like how do you view those two stocks right now?
Yeah.
Stock trading. Okay, bye.
Oh.
Mecca, what up?
Right. Yeah, so what I was gonna say, yeah, with Tesla, like, man, sometimes I wish I would have invested in this stock 10 years ago. 10 years ago it was like sharing at, like, with IPO, I heard was like $17, So now it's over $2,000. Like, even if you would have invested like $200 in it, you would at least be like almost be worth $500,000. You know what I mean? So for me, like, I don't know, like I kind of ride the wave when it comes to speculation, hear the news. Because think about it, a lot of people you know, like pump and dump, right? There's a strategy called pump and dump where all the hype, you know, just invest as much money as possible because, you know, this stock is going to be the one stock, right? So that's one of the things I do like about Tesla is like, obviously knowing Elon Musk, you know, he's a great person. And not only that, but he's really know what he's doing, whether, you know, he's losing money or not making money or whatever the case may be. Like he has a way. I mean, he owns like 3 companies, you know, at the same time. So compared to like Ford, like, you know, I mean, they're really cheap. You know, I think like when COVID hit, they dropped to like what, $3 or something. So it was pretty low. But I mean, now like they're barely $7. You know, like they clearly can't compete. I mean, they're just trying to catch up with these electric vehicles. So I don't know. For me, like I do like the hype. I like to see what's coming next, and you know, I go for Tesla. But I don't know, Rylan, what do you think? What's your thoughts?
I personally don't like to invest in the auto industry. However, just looking at both of them, Tesla is, for me, in my point of view, is really good for like swing trading and day trading and scalp trading and, you know, those type of trading. But I don't think it's a really good long-term investment only because there's nothing that's driving these shares to go up so high. It's just a bunch of retail investors that are hyping it up. And even Elon Musk had said that, you know, the shares were too high, and the shares have went even higher since he had tweeted that out. So I just think that there's nothing. It's just a big bubble right now, and at some point, you know, you need to follow a solid foundation for me to be able to invest into a company more long term. But short term, all day. If I had the premium to be able to get into an option, or even to buy some stocks, I would definitely do it and just short them, or you know, do some short calls on them. But long term, not at all. Ford, on the other hand, I would do Ford only because they have a dividend, and they've been around for a very long time. I don't know what's going to be ahead for them, but out of the two, I would definitely go more of the Ford route for long term, and Tesla for more short term trading gains.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a great analysis there. And you know, this is Tesla versus Ford, right? So neither side is really wrong, but it's interesting to hear both sides. And I'm the same. Like for the short term, you know, I'll ride the Tesla swing. But for the long term, I would, you know, build a base of a decent, you know, some shares of Ford. Anybody else?
Who was that just spoke?
So you just missed the intro. This is Miss Ryland. This is our co-host. He's going to help kind of take over some of the stock talk conversation.
Okay. Well, I love the insight from the lady that just spoke. I definitely cannot pretend to be the most experienced investor since I started investing this year after joining this group. But my nephew who was on the call 2 weeks ago works at Tesla. And I know, I'm not saying that we have any sort of inside information, but he's been telling me to buy Tesla. He's really into the company. He works for them. He loves it. He actually almost moved to San Diego to get promoted, and I told him to just stay in LA. But I've been looking at Tesla all year, and you know, FOMO is real. So I actually bought Tesla like 3 weeks ago. Oh. And when Tesla was 900, I was like, I should buy it. And Tesla was 1,000, I was like, I should buy it. And 1,300, so I bought it at 1,400, like, and now Tesla's at 2,200. So, you know, do I know what's going to happen in the future? No idea. And definitely Ford has definitely been around a long time. I think of Ford as a core company in America, but I mean, we shall see. But I do think it's not. I think the market is all about speculation, and I think one huge factor is optimism. So while Tesla may seem like something that people, you know, just has hype, I think whenever there's news like, if Tesla cannot meet the demand, let's say people order it and the factories cannot keep up with demand, the stock will drop. And we've seen that happen in the past. There's been some real good forecasting around Tesla as them actually meeting demand, and the factories they purchased, their expansions, and that's, I think, has contributed to it. So I think if you're into the short term, watching that news and seeing the positive news or negative news and knowing that, I think it's just as important as knowing what you want to do in the long term.
Good. Anybody else own Tesla or Ford and want to speak to their, buying into that stock?
For me, when it comes to Ford, I think Ford was more of one of those you just invest and let it hold because you're not expecting for Ford to blow up since it's been around for so long. And it's the only thing they're really changing is their designs. Everyone says that the future is electric vehicles, and Tesla's pretty much the pioneer in that field right now. But I don't just consider Tesla as an automotive; I consider it tech as well. So Tesla swings both ways when it comes to that. But if I'm investing on any day, I said I wouldn't invest in automotive. But as far as seeing that jump in Tesla, I would definitely jump on it now, especially when it's about to split. And just think if you hop on that split and you get one of those stocks at was it 2,500 divided by 6, and it rolls back up to where it is now, that's pretty much a game changer if you ask me.
Okay. Okay.
So I got a question just from I'm new to the stock and everything. I'm really grateful to be here. My boy B.E.L.L, he put me on. So I've just kind of been on the fence line, just looking at different things and just how they move, just as far as usefulness. But I find myself asking a question: is Ford the blockbuster of the automotive industry? Like they waited too long to really ramp it up. And then you look at the whole, Trump movement, he's all about that. Like when everybody goes left or, goes one way, you never know. It may be some type of consolidation somewhere. So it's just like Ford could be a sleeper, but they don't strike me as the cutting edge technology industry. So it's kind of hard to put a lot of faith, from that standpoint. So are they the blockbuster Hollywood videos of the world? It's kind of like, that's how I see it.
That's a good question. I think we'll wait and see. I mean, behind the scenes, a lot of these big companies have been making partnerships with other, autonomous vehicle developers and EV developers. So like I think like BMW is partnered with like Uber, Google's Waymo. They've partnered with someone else. So behind the scenes, they're working on some development. So they may not be as far behind as we think. So that's something to research and find out. What if I told you guys, right? What if one company does, I just looked it up, right? One company does $160 billion a year in revenue and their net expenses is 14 million, and another company does 25 billion in revenue and their net is 5 billion. Which one sounds more attractive to you? Tesla, but which one is Tesla, do you think, Larice? The
second one.
Ding, ding, ding. She's right. So and why is that though? Why is it just, does it sound better because it's lower revenue or?
I'm not sure, but I think Tesla is more of the future than Ford. Ford is like a staple of our economy, and they're going to be just like GM, dependent on the government to bail them out. I don't think they're going to move forward that much. I'm wondering here, how many people own a Ford, and does anybody here of 21 people own a Tesla?
I own a Ford. I got an F-150.
Okay, that's one Ford. Anybody else?
Dan, or put it in the chat.
How many people own a Tesla? Just say one or put it in the chat like he said. Oh, one person, maybe.
I know somebody with a Tesla. I know somebody.
The real question is how many people wants a Tesla?
Oh, I
Guess
want
the
one.
better question. Yeah, everybody want one.
Yep.
Yeah, my take, my thoughts on it is a couple thoughts. Yeah, Tesla is definitely a status symbol like the Apple or whatever. So a lot of people want it, and it's like a desire thing. But for me, it's hard to invest that much money into depreciating assets. So for me, just like mathematically and logical, I can't do it. But beyond that, with Ford, what Ford has going for it, at least in the truck division, is that I forget what it's called, but it's like a statute in law where it makes American cars, American trucks in particular. Um, Cheaper to produce here because they levy taxes on a lot of the international brands for importing. So that's why the Ford F-150 is the best selling car in America. And it's not because it's the best. It's just because they have an unfair advantage at producing. So that's kind of, you know, um, gives them an advantage. But beyond that, and I think, and I can stop talking, but I think what also gives Tesla as the advantage is the potential for growth. Like the Fords and the people don't really see them expanding much, but Tesla, they're like, oh man, the world's their oyster. They're only this small percentage of the market, so they could potentially shoot up. And so that's, I think, why part of why their stock is high. But for me, I like companies like a Toyota because they're like very methodical about everything they do, and it's just they've been successful at producing reliable cars and successful cars for like a really long time. And I see their gradual move from EVs, I mean from hybrids into electric vehicles as a natural progression instead of jumping straight for the EV. I don't think that makes sense because batteries are in limited supply. And so, you know, Toyota couldn't produce enough EVs, even if they wanted to, at the volume they sell at. So they say, I take this 100 kilowatt battery, I chop it up, and I can make 10 hybrid vehicles, you know, with 10 kilowatt batteries, as opposed to just one electric vehicle, and I can sell more cars that way. And so I like that philosophy better. And they say, okay, one day when battery technology is more mature and we can make EVs at the scale that we sell, then we'll do it. But until that time, we'll just keep making hybrid vehicles because they're selling. And so that's my thought anyway.
There was on PBS, could have been about 5 or 10 years ago. They were talking about electric cars, and under when Clinton was president, he was pushing electric cars and passed different laws and everything to try to clean up the air. So after Clinton got out the White House, the car company was buying back all the electric cars that was on the road, and if a person didn't sell it back to a company, they stole the cars. So they got all the electric cars off. So this electric car thing is not brand new because it was really out there under the Clinton administration. I think it's going to make it. And a lot of people worry about there being enough places where they can, they don't, it doesn't get gas, but it get the electricity so you can
Charging station.
car. Yeah, so they're supposed to be, they have a book or something out that if you buy the Tesla, you'll get it. So you'll know all over the country where you can stop and you can charge your car, other than when you're not at home.
Okay, good.
Also, I saw on television today, I think it was on Lester Holt, on one of the commercials, they were talking about Amazon, and all the Amazon vehicles are electric. So that kind of lets you know that people are trying to move towards electric vehicles. So when you get your package, it might be an electric vehicle that has it.
One small thing that I was thinking about is, do you think that, for me, I think hydrogen fuel cells technology is a much better technology overall because you get the fueling time of a gas car, but the EV and the environmental performance of an EV, to me, that just feels like the better compromise than sitting at a charging station for an hour every time you want to stop.
I have a hybrid car, which is a Camry, and I had zero problems with it as far as repairs and things like that. The other thing about electric cars is almost zero repairs for them. That's why the people want them off the road, because you don't have to go to the repair shops. That's why people buy them, and that's why the price is so high.
I got a question.
What's going on?
So for like Tesla, y'all say that they're a main company and everything. But if you invest in the companies that supply Tesla with the parts they need to make their cars, is there profit to be gained in that?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I don't know. I think I just saw one on that Ty Capital, right? And so wasn't that one of the calls the other day? And he said this company is like a supplier. They're kind of, there was an ETF, I think, that owned some Tesla stocks, but that's what it was. But for example, like in the aerospace industry, you have a company called Spirit. I think their ticker name is SPR, and they move when Boeing moves because they're one of their main suppliers. So they supply like the body, chassis pretty much of the airplane. So, they're like a $22 stock. I actually own a share. So whenever I don't have the whole outright, $100 Boeing share, but I have the other one and it moves pretty well. And I can trade some options on there too. So yes, gotta, do your research, read deep into those articles.
So is the idea trying to just to like, you kind of got to match that to what the big company does? Is that how you kind of gauge what to invest in? Like if you see the smaller companies that supply the big company doing well, that the trade-off would be the big company is going to do well at the end. Is that kind of a thing in stocks, or?
Yes, it's like GM utilizes Fisher Automotive to build their bodies. Uh, they, as long as they're the OEM suppliers. Whenever you have a large company, you have a small company that jumps in and makes the smaller component parts to assemble the whole widget, whatever it is, be it a car, a phone, a water bottle, who knows. But if you have a big OEM that's doing well, like a Tesla, then absolutely the people that are building the specific tires for that car, who are making the wheels for it, who are building the wire harnesses, the glass manufacturers, all those different OEM suppliers are going to be, they typically are smaller, and they're definitely good stocks to look at.
And I definitely want to add that that you made a great point of bringing this up, because when you can't afford the premium for the Tesla shares or any other shares that are out there, you can definitely go to those different companies that are supporting those companies and still benefit from the gain. So great point.
Also, he used the acronym OEM. In case you guys don't know, that's original equipment manufacturer.
Cool. Thank you.
So what was the last
I love that.
car or automotive like manufacturer that failed or was bought out by another company? I know like we've seen it in the pharmacy industry, how CVS started buying out a bunch of these other, failing businesses. So what's the potential that Ford will be bought out? Like say Tesla is good with the tech, but Ford has, the truck piece, and somehow they merge and create this, avatar baby of a muscle truck or something like that. Like, I guess that's something that we would, maybe consider. Like, who stands to benefit from if Ford crashes and buys them? Like, how much would that boost their stock?
So the thing about the automotive industry is you see Ford, but you don't know who all is under Ford's umbrella. The same thing with Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. You see FCA, I think it's FCA, but those are the three companies we see. But there's so many other companies that they purchased under the table that you will have to do your research and see what those companies are. So when you're looking at a company, all you see is the name, but you don't see the different transactions that are going on under the table. Because if you look at, like I said, FCA, if I'm not mistaken, they either own stake in either Ferrari or is it Ferrari or Lamborghini?
But those are German cars.
Fiat Chrysler and Fiat owns part of Ferrari and Lamborghini.
And see, you would have never known that the people that are producing Ram trucks are also in those exotic vehicles as well.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
I haven't seen too many mergers actually being very successful though. Like most of them, they, you know, it's like two failing companies usually trying to come together to try to help. But like when Daimler, Chrysler, Benz, when they, you know, they had FCA for a little bit and that just failed and they broke back apart. And you know, now Chrysler only sells two vehicles, a minivan and I think the Chrysler 300, which is crazy to me. A manufacturer only has two vehicles that they sell.
Yeah, they've been discontinuing everything slowly.
Very nice. Okay. Now let's talk about like bringing it back to like the Tesla versus Ford. I think we're looking at, you know, the modern kind of stock versus the old stock. So what about like how you evaluate the stock, right? So I think, you know, it sounds like we got some different tips, but any other tips on how you guys evaluate a stock and determine whether it's worth it?
I typically look at the history, and if it has consistently increased over time, I use that as my decision of whether I'm going to invest in the stock or not. Like when I was saying, when it came to Tesla, it just blew up. But before it blew up, you kept hearing about the SEC trying to investigate Elon Musk and trying to find him and whatnot. And you would expect there to be bad news before a stock just explodes.
Mm-hmm.
But also, isn't he blowing up because he's putting things on the moon or all these space trips and stuff like that? Isn't that Elon Musk?
I think that's I don't know who is that? Is that Richard Branson? Maybe is that you talking about doing the Virgin?
Talking about SpaceX, I think.
Oh, the SpaceX part. Yeah.
He's trying to get people to go to Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe this is cynical, but I think some of it is American protectionism too. Like we want to see an American company do great. You know, we don't want to see Toyota on the top forever, and so it incentivizes us to pump up our own companies somewhat as well. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but
Yeah, it does. It does. I think that's where, you know, honestly, I think that's where the 45 has you know, kind of leveraged that part of you know, his campaign, and you know what he goes out and he does. You know, he kind of hits home on those, you know, I'm all about the American companies type of, and then the ones that are you know, not paying taxes or not being American, you know, and I'm gonna take them down. You know, it's kind of got this whole cowboy righteous campaign that I think a lot of people fell in love with. But not to get too political, sorry.
Speaking on that, speaking on that SpaceX stuff, how do y'all feel about I don't know if y'all have seen about the laser technology that's coming out for a lot of the DoD type protection type systems coming in the future? Is that something you guys pay attention to?
Defense is big. Back to Reagan era when they had the Star Wars initiative, high-tech weapons, we were working off of liquid lasers. Now we have an actual, a real laser that can shoot something out of the sky. We're humans. We're going to fight somebody. And it's usually going to be each other. So I would always, defense is always a good play.
Yeah. Yeah, defense that, I mean, that's why you see a lot of their stocks. I mean, they're all like in the $200s, $300, you know, because it's just a solid play with all the money we spend on government contracts here. So that's always a good play. Any other comments on the Tesla versus Ford portion of it?
I'll say it also depends on the news that you see people putting out. So I'm seeing 9 hours ago, Tesla is going to reveal a 1,000,000-mile battery.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they're making moves. I see Ursula had a comment. How will innovations in self-driving and autonomous vehicles impact consumerism for electric cars? Will people drive less, share rides? Are your long-term decisions for which auto company is best based on AI, which is artificial intelligence, and ML, machine learning innovations? Shoot, I mean, that is the future. We're in the future, actually. I mean, knowing that, cars are driving people by themselves without anybody being there is astonishing, So, and it's only going to get, I mean, I don't know. It's like War of the Machines, right? Or Rise of the Machines. I said War of the Machines. Rise of the Machines, like Terminator and stuff. Cybernet is about to happen next, y'all. So you thought Corona was bad. I'm just kidding. I don't know. But no, in all seriousness, like I already know that I don't know, for me, like I like that kind of stuff. So AI, with all these cars, they're just getting smarter. You know what I mean? Like they can just breathe and know that you're right there and they'll start it for you. It's like, oh snap. Like when did that start happening, So I don't know. That's just my thoughts though.
My question
You
would
know,
be, from a technology standpoint, I think that's definitely possible. But from a policy standpoint, do you see that really happening anytime soon?
No.
No, definitely not. Nope.
Go ahead, Chancellor.
liability. When that self-driving car hits somebody and kills somebody, who's liable? The person behind the wheel or the manufacturer of that vehicle? I trust my car. I got adaptive cruise control, love it. I don't trust it to drive for me. It wants to straighten up the steering wheel. I turn that off. At least for me and where I'm at generationally, I'm not ready for the car to do everything yet. And I'm going to hold on to that. I want to do a lot of stuff, but I don't want to drive me just yet. When I'm 90, it can drive me, but not yet.
Yeah.
So y'all feel you on that one.
But it's a good play because it's going to happen. It's a good.
Yeah, my understanding is that there are already cars and trucks on the road that are testing. We just don't know that they're there, that are being tested in terms of making decisions about how to get from point A to point B. And there are, those algorithms that are being developed to make those decisions, like if two cars are about to get in an accident, which one of the occupants will be more injured than the other occupant of the car. So there are some committees that are working on things like ethics and how to allow machines to make those types of decisions. When it will happen, I don't know, but I have a feeling that it'll happen probably sooner than, I don't know. This is me. I have a feeling it'll happen sooner than we think it will.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Yeah. I think it will as well. Or we'll probably see it a lot with the trucking industry. That's kind of my guess. And when you're out there on those roads that aren't as urban. So, but I think it'll be a transition, like Chancellor said, it'll be some years, I think, before it's fully adapted, but it's not too early. It's not too early though. And it's definitely not too late.
Yeah, the thing that worries me about that transition is that, people keep cars for 20, 30 years, right? And so if you have roads with smart cars and dumb cars, like how do they coexist? Because they rely on cars talking to each other and managing that relationship. But if, you can't talk to this car, then maybe you just fall back.
Market on University Avenue.
So that's really heavily reliant on 5G technology. So I think Qualcomm is a good play on that. But you're absolutely right. And that's where you get into that liability issue and who's going to be responsible when in their 69 Chevelle, they're or my Subaru over here smashes up. So I want Tesla to buy me a new car. I don't want Joe Blow to buy it. I want Elon to buy it. you know, pay for.
There you go. There you go. Okay, okay. This portion of the conversation, just open it up for like any hot stocks, any plays that you guys are looking at, or just any questions you guys may have. You know, no question is a dumb question. I think we have a wide range of expertise in the room, so feel free to shoot.
There's some stocks that are splitting. I think it's Apple that's splitting. What are your thoughts about?
Tesla is splitting as well.
Yeah, pursuing it after the split. I think that there were some people who were wanting to buy it before the split, but what are your thoughts about after the split?
Well, I personally remember when Apple split the last time. If you guys, been trading long enough, I forgot what year it was, but I think they did like a 7-to-1 split. They were up at like $700, like maybe like 5 years ago or something, and they did a split down to, I want to say, about $100. It was like a 7-to-1 split, and now we see it. So just from my personal kind of experience of seeing the market over these years, I think they'll do the same thing again, especially now that you have so many more people into the market now. It's a different generation where we have it on our phone. So we have it in our phone, on our phone, right? We could trade the stock while we're on the phone. So and the more and more we talk about ownership and owning a piece of it, it's just going to go right back up, in my opinion. And even with the sensationalism that Brian talked about, that it's an American company. So I think we're just going to naturally prop it up.
I want to second that because I myself position myself to reap the benefits of these next releases that's coming up in September and October and the split. So I think that, it would be beneficial if you were to get in, but once it splits, I think it also will be beneficial to get in because things are going to go up for sure with Apple. Yeah, that's my piece. I'm quite happy with Apple right now. So
Hey, to switch over real quick, anybody got any thoughts of the Airbnb IPO? Because we're not going to be locked down in Corona for forever, and people are going to start wilding out, want to travel and do everything. So I was wondering if anybody else was looking at that.
I saw it. I'm a little hesitant only because of COVID. But I definitely, have been looking into Airbnb. So I just don't know how much it's been impacted with COVID or how this is going to end, or I just don't know. So I'm staying away from it personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rylan,
Yeah.
Rylan, what do you think about Apple's current situation with the antitrust with their it's actually a couple big companies, I think Amazon, but it's particularly Apple because they're going through something with Fortnite right now and they're 30%. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some antitrust and they may not be able to keep that up in terms of affecting their stock in the future.
I thought that it was going to have a huge effect on their stock because Fortnite, that's a really big audience to lose, and to disable, access to that and to the developers is kind of rude of them. So I'm not really sure how this is going to play out. But I think that if it was going to affect, I think the hype of the new phones and things like that is still going to overshadow the legal battles that's happening underneath. But at the same time, I really don't know, Apple and Amazon, they're all, have been chewed out by Congress already. So they're all dealing with legal battles right now. But it doesn't seem to be affecting them because retail investors are once again hyping everything up. So I'm just kind of interested to see what's going to happen next year at this point, because right now it's just a retail investors type of market.
I would second that too and say I mean, I don't know if how their position has changed, but I remember reading or hearing that like Apple is, billions cash liquid as well too. So, I think they can sustain those types of things. And I personally, if I'm them, I say, before it was Fortnite, it was Call of Duty. Before it's Call of Duty, it was NBA 2K. Before it was this. So, I think they have some leverage there if you just look at the natural kind of, ebbs and flows of that industry. So.
Yeah, I remember seeing something recently because I think Apple sometimes may be overplaying their hand because they also removed their developer account. And I remember reading that a judge was inclined to put an injunction on that part. They said they went too far. Like taking the app off is one thing, but removing their developer account for their other apps was going too far. And I think that may be like a bridge too far for regulators to say, okay, so you're killing this whole company because you're unhappy about this one app. That has nothing to do with the rest of their gaming engine, for example. And so that'd be something interesting to see.
Yeah, I think that alone right there, when I look at stocks, I look at how the main people like the CEOs and the executives, how do they handle like these negative things like the legal battles and things like that. And I really don't like how they handle that situation. And me personally, it makes me not want to invest in the actual stock equity, which I have actually been just doing the stock options. Because I just don't like how they're doing the developers. I don't like how they're doing business with, the underdog, if you will. So that factor alone will stop me from actually investing into the equity of the stock. But stock options, I'm definitely doing that just because, there's gains to be had in there. So, but yeah, I don't like how they handle that as well.
Shell, I see you had some Chinese stocks. You want to drop a jewel or two on us?
Oh yeah. Man, lately my friend came back from China like late last year and was immediately interested in like certain stocks. One of which is like their form of currency. I guess when you go to China, there's only like certain different ways that you can. I guess they don't have like ATMs like us. They have a different like form of currency, and there's only certain companies that kind of like controls that or has like lock on that because it's different than America. They only have like certain companies in certain areas. So two companies that I've been looking at is Alibaba, BABA, and ever since, and I only have like one of them because I just I don't know Chinese stocks like that, so I'm just kind of like getting my feet wet, and I don't know, just from the like playing around with it, these stocks been just blowing up ever since I had it. This went up like maybe like a smooth $80, I think, in like the last like 2 or 3 months. That one, and what's the other one that I was looking at? The energy one. Oh, Daco New Energy. It's DQ. That's another one. It hasn't been shooting up as much as Baba, but that one been shooting up kind of crazy too. So I don't know. Like the more and more I'm starting to just get more familiar with like different Chinese companies like those. And I'm like looking at, investment options. It just seems like a good way to go in terms of looking more into Chinese market.
Nice. Okay. I thought you was about to tell us you didn't open a Chinese stock account or something and you trading. You gonna hit us with some real dude? Like, is that right? Okay. No, that's good though.
And then with Japan, I still got my Nintendo and my Sony, of course.
There we go. Yeah, I think there's speaking of IPOs and then foreign companies, there's a foreign-based company I think that's going public, IPO. I think it was either in like China I think that's what it was. I think that's why Alibaba was kind of jumping up because of this company out there that basically Alibaba kind of owns, like almost like how eBay owned PayPal and PayPal spun off. It's basically like a similar type of move where it's Alibaba's pay system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're spinning
and they have
off.
like sole control over it.
Yeah, exactly. So I know what
So
you're
when you go to
talking about.
China, you have to use it.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some moves out there, and it's good.
Yeah, I was gonna add B.E.L.L. So I think they're backing a competitor to Tesla. They had an IPO today. It's called, what is it? X. I don't know if anybody called it Xpeng Motors. Yeah, they raised I think $1.5 billion with the IPO. So so last I saw they were trading for around $23. So who knows? 10 years from now they might be over $2,000.
Yeah. Good. Okay, we got about 8 minutes left. We're talking about hot stocks, or before we go, I know Microsoft and Walmart have been going crazy today because of a potential acquisition or a sale on TikTok. I don't know if you guys have been following that whole story, how basically the U.S. government is saying TikTok can't operate their business here because of their potential liaison with their potential laws in China, operating in China. So Microsoft has been, talking to buy TikTok. I think I read today, I seen somewhere on just a quick headline, it was like a $30 to $50 billion deal that they're looking to acquire them, and Walmart's supposedly gonna get in on the deal. So those are some stocks to watch right now for sure. Walmart, Microsoft, for that deal. Any other hot plays? Anything else you guys are looking at, watching? Won big on, lost big on. I know Alibaba did well for me this week. Microsoft
did well for me this week, and I actually repositioned myself. So I'm ready to rock and roll with the deal.
Here we go.
Think Microsoft is gonna buy TikTok?
I think they have a greater chance with Walmart because Walmart has to compete with Amazon, and them being able to utilize TikTok as an advertisement platform is going to be a key thing in their business strategy. So I think the likelihood is there. Oracle, I don't think Oracle has no business buying TikTok. I don't know what they would use it for. So yeah.
Have you heard of anybody heard of Skyworks?
I haven't.
Put us on game, more.
Skyworks is a company that provide resources to Apple to build their iPhones, and I've been I have Skyworks for a while, and they constantly making money for me. So
what's their ticker?
Huh?
What's their ticker?
What's the symbol?
SWKS.
Good looking on that one.
Yeah, there you go. Here, I found the so this company is supposedly an ETF that's comprised of about 40% Tesla shares. So this is a good stock to look at if you're potentially not, you don't feel comfortable putting up that type of money for one share of Tesla. But as Dudley did mention, there are fractional shares that you can buy too through like Robinhood. So you could buy fractional shares as well. But apparently, according to this page that I'm in, this stock group, this is an ETF firm that has a big share of Tesla stock. So, okay. As we get ready to wrap up, you guys know we've been doing a stock talk game. So the August game is coming to an end. I don't know who's at the top. I know I'm getting my butt kicked this month. I took some positions on some options and got killed. But I don't know. Do you have that pulled up, Jaden? I'll try and pull it up too.
Stock game.
Yes, he's in first place right now. The goal is basically, to get individuals to trade, you know, if you're not as comfortable yet, or if you just don't, you know, have the money to get into some of those higher price stocks, at least it gives you an opportunity to invest the virtual game and see how the money moves. You can trade options in there. You can short stocks. So it's just another way for you to kind of test your strategies and things like that. If you're just competitive, I know I am. I've been talking smack to Emeka, and trying to go from there. So if you didn't make this one, don't worry. We'll get you guys in on the next one. We'll start basically next week on September 1st. We'll start a new stock game and go from there. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Oh, you doing a screen share, Jay?
Yes, he's showing it.
Oh, okay. I'm like, man, what's going on? Brian, I see you in first place this time, huh? Is it?
Don't look at me. Don't look at my name over there.
Oh, look, don't look at me. Look, I'm way.
How can we see the stocks that other people purchased? Or, oh, you can't see, that way you can't like bite.
No, you can. You can. Click on his head. Click on Hayes's thing right there, Jaden.
I mean, in the game, I don't see anyone besides myself.
If you go to rankings right there like that, and then just scroll down, look.
Yeah, I see rankings, and mine doesn't let me click on the rankings. But I'll check again.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm just playing alone, man. I have no friends. I'm just winning, man. I'm just winning.
Well, this is a good. Since you got it up, Jay. Yeah, you could see basically his portfolio here. So it looks like Brian went in.
Okay.
Looks like he had some Carvana, Peloton. I know Brian. He got a bike in his picture, so I know he's about his bike life. But you can see overall he's been up $32. I don't know when he bought it, but you know it's just what you do. Just a good way to. It's virtual money. You're not going. Oh, there you go, Jay.
Oh, there's the dates of the transactions. That's cool.
That's cool, right? So I didn't even know that.
Maybe the person who's in here can see it because he's the host.
I can see it.
No, I think he's talking.
I mean, on your own game, like if you're in the game, you get to see it.
No, well, I created the game and Jayden's just joined. Like how.
Okay.
So, yeah, double check that again. Let me know if that's the issue. I know this thing can be kind of glitchy sometimes, but you know, we could check it out. So yeah, go to my profile there, Jay. I wonder if I could see like my options history. I'm getting killed right now. Yeah, y'all can laugh at me. Look, I've been in there since 2017. though. I tell you, I've been around losing money forever now. But so right when the game started, I bought this Sereno Therapeutics. I don't know if you guys know that stock, but it went up to about $20. Like as short as like a week ago, it was up to about $20. So my portfolio was up on that. But you know, I just didn't sell. So you know, this is just a good way to just learn and see how stocks move. And you know, I've started to kind of say to myself, I need to like develop like a strategy where, you know, when I hit like a certain percentage, for me right now, it's like 20%. If I get a 20% profit over here or a total gain, then I'm gonna sell the stock and take my profit and try and reinvest it. But you see, I held on it too long, and now I'm back down. So. Oh, there you go. See, Jay can find all the good stuff right here. So yeah, you could just see some of the stocks I traded. I did some options on Workhorse. I did one on SPY. Alibaba, that's the one that's been hitting and I sold too soon. So yeah, you can see just what's happening here and throughout the game. I won't bore you guys too much with every detail, but like I said, it's just a good way to keep kind of practicing, seeing how your strategies work or don't work, and go from there. And just remember, the winner of the game will get a free month to the Todd Capital stock options group. So it looks like Brian might end up taking this this ring home this time, and make sure he gets in there and gets an opportunity to continue to grow.
I had a quick question just about a philosophy of investing to not get yourself in trouble. Do you all, I mean, I'm sure it's different for each one of you, like add money into like your, to a money market account to invest every, you know, maybe like every month or every couple of weeks? Or did you just start with like a lump sum of cash and say, okay, you know, I'm gonna start with this, and if I keep making it grow, I'm gonna keep making it grow. But if I lose it, that's it. I'm not gonna put any more money in. I didn't know if y'all had any thoughts on that.
I start with a small account and then I grow it, and then I keep what I invested as cash for buying power, and then I work with market money and I try and grow the market money. So I'm not investing my own personal cash. I'm using my gains. That's how I do it. So $300 is kind of like where I start at.
So I started with a lump sum, and then I reinvest my gains, and I also contribute monthly. So I just throw all.
Big dog, big dog. Yeah, I'm a lump sum guy, but I'm slowly transitioning over to you know, getting a money market account myself. So where I'll just kind of slowly put more and more in. So I'm transitioning over to just that type of investing. So, oh, Dudley had a question here. We'll answer this last one, and then we'll, you know, for courtesy, wrap it up. Or if you guys got to drop, no problem. But the question here is: do you mind stating the benefits of investing versus putting all of your money in the bank?
Easy. The interest rate's only 2% if you put anything in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So you're better off putting it in the stock market, but you have to be careful what funds you put it in.
Yeah. It's, if you, I actually just posted something like that today on our NSBE entrepreneurship IG page, where it was like the power of compounding, and it basically was a visual of what Larice was talking about. But I think on average, right, the stock market's annual growth, if you have a portfolio, is about, I think, 7 to 10%. So versus the 2% that you get in a savings account. But obviously, it takes some time, and you know, you want to try and pick some good stocks, some blue chip stocks, do your research, and go from there. What's that one there, Chancellor?
I was going to give a side note that most people who own houses right now, because the interest rate is so low, 2%, they are now refinancing their houses. So you should be able to get anywhere from 3% down for a fixed 40-year loan.
Yeah, you definitely want to put your money to work, because having multiple jobs, you can only be at so many places at so many times. But when you have your money working for you, it's kind of like an extra arm there helping you, you know, develop some funds for you without you having to physically be there. But you definitely want to do your research and be wise about it. That's my input.
Awesome.
I mean, for full disclosure, I put up the ticker FOCPX. That's like my favorite fund. That one I'm at about 20%, or no, I think over 20% on. I forget right now. I think it might actually be about 34% year over year.
I'm looking at price now. Coming at price.
And I'd also say that leaving your money in the bank, you're actually losing money year over year because of inflation. Usually it's higher than a lot of these savings accounts nowadays anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously, y'all, like, you know, savings, you know, still, if you can, you know, savings is good, you know, but if you have excess and, you know, you set a limit, it's going to grow, you know, more into the market. But with anything, right, put up what you are willing to potentially lose in the market, right? You have to be careful with any form of investment. So, but, you know, the gain is definitely a lot more substantial. So,
One
Okay.
last question. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Do you think the low interest rates in the housing market now is actually pushing housing prices up? So you're getting a lower rate, but you're spending a lot more money than you otherwise probably would have. And that's part of what got me thinking too.
I think it depends on, because if you own a house, you want to get the lowest rate. Most of the rates were probably 3% all the way up to 3.4. And I even know a friend of mine who has a 4% interest rate. So why pay out all that money, and you can lower your monthly mortgage statement anywhere from $200 to $400 a month just by reinvesting and getting a lower interest rate at this time. Will it stay low? No, it's going to go up. It'll probably take another 6 months to a year to go up, but it's going to start climbing up. So the best time to reinvest is right now.
I think the prices of homes are also going up because it's just people need a place to stay, and just rents are going up and everything else. So I think that supply and demand is also another reason why the housing prices are going up, in addition to a low rate.
Yeah, I think it's not that many housing available for sale, so the price would have to go up.
Yeah, it's definitely has to do with limited inventory right now. I'm actually a realtor. That's my field of expertise. But it's definitely the limited amount of houses, and just the market itself is really hard to tell exactly where it's going to go, just because it has stayed so consistent. So it's driving all of the value up, because right now, if you own a home, you're damn near getting maximum value for it not even being maximum value ready. So it's once everything clears from all of the forbearances and, all of that stuff factors out to see really what the market is going to look like, but they're also not building homes at a rapid rate. So I think it's going to continue to go up, and we're not going to see that dramatic drop off. If anything, we might see a little bit, but as of right now, it's, at least in Sacramento, for the 350, 400 range, you're easy at 20 offers, per home. Easy.
Crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, thanks for that, Desmond. Thank you, brother realtor. Yeah, and one last one I dropped on here. I know BYFC, they there we go. Drop your LinkedIn's if you guys want to connect, and stay in the conversation. Join us for the next stock talk. We'll probably do it on the Thursday, next month. But BYFC, they already are publicly traded. They just merged with another company. And so that's something to look out for. I think it already kind of jumped a little bit on the news like earlier today or yesterday, but it's just another way to support, and just invest in a Black-owned company as well. So take a look at them as well. I think they're like $1 right now. So it's not a big upfront investment there. So thank you to everyone, all the constant supporters, my brother Emeka there, Sister Harps, Lamar, I see you, Marissa, you're quiet, Miss Jasmine, what's going on, Ursula, Brian, Hamilton, everybody, Jayden, thank you to our new co-host, Rylan. We love to get that other aspect, I have my kind of mind of how I look at it. She's bringing a new aspect, a new approach, Jayden as well, everybody. So thank you guys all. Jayden, you have any last signing off in Ryland?
Oh, I think that's it, man. Great talk tonight. Very, very insightful, and I hope somebody got something from it tonight. So yeah, great stuff.
Same here. I'm just excited about it going so well tonight. So just stay studying. That's all I can say. Just keep studying.
And the Slack channel. If you guys just have questions, you guys want to share stock tips, or we've been in the Slack channel, staying pretty active. We shared the link in there to the Zoom call tonight, the stock game update. So that's just a good way to stay connected as well with us in the Slack channel. And if you want to get the link to join it, just text the number that you guys got the reminder from. We can get that to you in there as well. And Jayden just put it in the chat right now as well. So with that said, you guys have a good evening. Be safe, stay healthy and blessed. Good to see everyone. Again, as always, have a good night.
All right, have a good night.
NSBE, my boy Shell. See all y'all. Garrett, didn't get to call y'all. Milane. Is it Milane?
Melanie.
Melanie. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a beautiful.
You hella Bert. You Bert. Malade. Oh shit.
Hey, it's getting late, man. It's getting
All
late.
right.
All right.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.